In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has increased the monetary policy rate by 200 basis points to 24.75% from 22.75% to address escalating inflation. Governor Olayemi Cardoso announced the decision at the 294th meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee press briefing in Abuja. This marks a 2% surge from the previous rate set a month earlier, constituting a second hike under the current committee's tenure. The CBN governor had mentioned the exchange rate, adding that the apex bank will ensure that the market remains flexible.
Foreign exchange, we believe that we are on the right course, and of course, one particular area of chair as a result of the actions we have taken is the moderation in the foreign exchange rate, which you have seen. Now, don't take the foreign exchange in isolation because it does have major pass-through to inflation. And to the extent that we've seen this happen and we expect it will continue to moderate, we're confident that these tools and measures that the central bank is using will ensure that, the inflationary spiral will gradually.
Now, to further discuss this, I'm joined by Managing Director, TrustBanc Asset Management Limited, Azeez Lawal. Hello, Azeez. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, now, talking about this, 200 basis points, that's just about a month after an initial 400 basis points increase. How did that come to you? Did you expect it?
Yeah, thank you once again. Yeah, there were expectations around hike, right? Even though there were also some analysts that felt that, particularly from the private sector, right, who felt at these levels that the CBN should hold rates. But for those that anticipated that there was going to be hike, the popular projection was max 100 basis points or 150 basis points. But coming at this level of 200 basis points, it was not very popular, but though generally, particularly from the financial service side, and there was a general expectation that the CBN was going to hike, but not at these levels. Thank you.
All right, now talking about it, not being popular, that's the increase not being popular. While many economists and analysts have actually condemned the hike, saying it stifles businesses, the CBN actually sees it as a trade-off, maintaining that its core mandate comes first. What do you make of the CBN stance?
Thank you. The CBN stance, like you rightly said, it appears to let's prioritize our core mandate, which is to maintain price stability, which includes also controlling inflation over other considerations such as stimulating economic growth and, of course, the private sector. This approach is not, though the approach the CBN is taking is not uncommon among central banks, especially when faced with inflationary pressures like we currently experiencing in Nigeria. Like I said, while some analysts may criticize the rate hike, again, it could potentially stifle businesses and economic activity. And the CBN seems to view it as a necessary trade-off, like you correctly mentioned, right? Particularly when it's now clear that what they have done in the past, particularly starting from the for the first MPC for the year last month, right? We've seen that over time, the higher interest rate has attracted enough foreign portfolio investors, right? We're providing enough liquidity for the CBN to intervene in the market. So to a reasonable extent, we've seen that, the Naira is now relatively stable compared to what we saw at the start of the year. Particularly in the last couple of weeks, we've seen the Naira do over 10% in terms of appreciation, right? So yeah, it's a necessary stance, right? Even in context, if you compare Nigeria to a very close competitor at this time, right? You see that Egypt, early in March, they raised their benchmark rate by 600 basis points, right? Coincidentally, CBN is also Nigeria CBN is also matching that level by additionally hiking it by 200 basis points. What is Egypt's inflation? Egypt's inflation currently is about 35.7%. Nigeria's inflation is 31.7 currently, expected to go to 32 or 33 levels in March, right? You look at Egypt's benchmark rates, currently 27.25, and Nigeria currently at 24.75%. So that speaks to the fact that it's not uncommon among central banks to keep the stance at faced with current inflation challenges. Thank you.
Okay, now away from the stance, the CBN stance, Aziz, let's look at the asymmetric corridor and cash reserve ratio of merchant banks, which were also adjusted. What is the implication of these decisions and what do they portend for the people?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for merchant banks, that was taken to 14%. I mean, currently merchant banking is currently plagued with already with liquidity challenges. This is expected to worsen the situation, right? As for commercial banks, right, the corridor for commercial bank, the fact that it was returned to the status quo, right, compared to the last one that had a minus 700, right, which tend to put more pressure on the banking system at that level. But the fact that the plus 100 minus 300 is definitely a better condition for commercial banking, right? Unlike merchant banks. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much, Azeez Lawal, for joining me and speaking on this.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.